Remember that creepy little town in Oregon? Yeah, that's where the real magic happens. And I'm talking about the stuff you didn't see on TV. We're gonna dig up some deleted scenes that might just change the way you look at this show. So grab your journal, your flashlight, and let's get lost in the woods of Gravity Falls, the legend of the Gobblewonker.
It's not that hard, all right? All you gotta do...
To kick off our list, imagine Old Man McGucket in all his crazy glory, singing a song about the Gobblewonker with a catchy tune going, "It's gonna getcha." That's right, the original plan had McGucket doing this spooky yet hilarious tune. However, it got the axe for two reasons. The episode was too long, and apparently, McGucket's singing was so terrible, it didn't make the cut. Maybe it's for the best. Headhunters, the tattoo change.
Hey there, fellow restaurant patron. Bap.
Remember that thug Mabel talks to? Well, his tattoo had a small but edgy change in Headhunter. In the unaired pilot, his arm ink read STAB. A bit intense, right? For the official release, Disney had other plans. The tattoo was softened to read BATS instead. You can still catch a glimpse of the original tattoo in the pilot that never aired. Ah, the magic of censorship. The Inconveniencing.
This is gonna blow someone's mind.
This episode almost had a very different name. The original title, Wendy. Yup, it was named after our favorite cool girl who wasn't afraid to break the rules. And that's not all. And here's an interesting tidbit. When Dipper and Mabel was in the Thompsons minivan, the original line written inside the car was supposed to be, "You suck." But Disney's broadcast standards thought it was too strong, so it was changed to, "You stink." Dipper versus Manliness.
Whoa!
Next, let's talk about the multi-bear, or should we say bear bear. In the early designs, the creature was called Bear Bear. Oh, right? Not only that, but Dipper was set to console him with the line, "There, there, Bear Bear." But alas, the creators scrapped the name and scene, leaving us with the multi-bear we know today. Rest in peace, Bear Bear, you sounded adorable. Double Dipper.
Sorry, you first. Stop copying me!
And here's a major twist that could have changed everything. In the original draft of Double Dipper, our boy Dipper was supposed to summon Bill Cipher at the party. Yep, Bill was going to make an appearance way earlier in the series, but the idea was scrapped. Why? Dipper's actions in that version were just too unlikable. The creators didn't want him sabotaging the party and summoning a demon. Good call, I'd say. Can you imagine how Gravity Falls would have changed if Bill Cipher showed up this early? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit subscribe for more mind-blowing behind-the-scenes twists. Summerween.
Here we are, the Summerween Superstore.
To recap one of the most beloved Gravity Falls episodes, Summerween. Did you know that it was originally called Trick or Treat or Die? Pretty intense, right? But that's not all. There was an entire subplot that got chopped out. The idea? Stan and Gideon were supposed to get into a haunted house competition, with Stan representing the Mystery Shack and Gideon representing the Tent of Telepathy. It would have been hilarious to see these two battling it out in classic spooky style, but it didn't make the cut. The Deep End.
Yes, burn the child.
In the episode The Deep End, there was a small but significant dialogue change that definitely took the edge off one of Grunkle Stan's more intense moments. Originally, when Stan is reflecting light into Gideon's face, the script had him saying, "Blind the child," a pretty jarring line, right? It's no surprise that Disney thought this was a bit too extreme for their audience. So the writers swapped it out for "burn the child." Yes, you read that right. Somehow, burning seemed like the lesser evil. It's hard to imagine how setting someone on fire comes off as less shocking than temporarily blinding them. But there it is. A classic Disney Standards moment where things actually got a little hotter. Literally, Land Before Swine.
Whoa! They're all trapped inside tree sap. That's how they survived for 65 million years.
Next, let's talk about Grunkle Stan in Land Before Swine. Stan's always up to no good, but the original script took things a little too far. Believe it or not, Stan was originally written to intentionally let Waddles get caught by the pterodactyl, all to save himself. Yeah, not a good look. The creators decided this would make Stan way too unsympathetic, so they rewrote it to make him more, well, likable. Thank goodness they saved Waddles from that fate. Dreamscaperers.
It's him! It's the guy!
You leave our uncle's brain alone, you isosceles monster!
And let's dive into one of the biggest episodes of Season 1, Dreamscaperers. We all know Bill Cipher made his creepy debut in this one, but the original plot had him playing an even bigger role. Bill was supposed to enter the minds of all the characters, not just Stan. Imagine the chaos of Bill invading everyone's dreams. But in the end, the creators scaled it back to focus on Stan's mind, keeping the episode tight and suspenseful. Gideon Rises.
New plans for the former Mystery Shack. I give you Gideon Land!
In the Season 1 finale, Gideon Rises, there was a moment that teased fans in the original airing, adding to the suspense and mystery of Gravity Falls. When the credits rolled, Stan's voice came over saying, "Gravity Falls will return," a tantalizing promise of more mysteries to come. However, in subsequent airings, this line was removed, leaving later viewers without that thrilling tease. Imagine hearing that for the first time and being left hanging. Now that's a cliffhanger. Imagination intrigued? Well, hold on to your seat as we dive into Season 2, where cutscenes range from laugh-out-loud moments to surprisingly dark twists you never saw coming. Scary-oke.
The Mystery Shack is now closed. Everybody out. I will not hesitate to use the hose on the elderly.
Kicking things off with Scary-oke, this episode originally had a much longer, more hilarious intro. The extended opening featured the gang being interviewed on the news about the wild events from the previous episode. We would have seen Mabel getting tackled for holding her grappling hook, mistaken for a weapon, Wendy accidentally swearing on live TV, and Stan overindulging at the studio buffet. Unfortunately, this hilarious scene was cut for time. And here's something even darker. Dipper stumbles across a zombie survival kit, thinking it'll save the day. But inside, a noose. Yikes. That grim joke was quickly cut for obvious reasons. Gravity Falls always had a touch of darkness, but this went a little too far. Into the bunker.
This is so stupid cool.
Now, let's move to Into the Bunker, where things almost got super intense for Stan. In an early version of the episode, Stan nearly discovers Dipper, Mabel, Wendy, and Soos in the bunker. How? Through a security camera that was linked to a TV in the basement of the Mystery Shack. Imagine the tension of Stan almost catching them in the act. But in the end, the scene was scrapped to keep the focus on the bunker adventure. Still, it would have added an extra layer of suspense. The Gulf War.
Pacifica Northwest declares V-necks the look of the season. What am I looking at here?
Whoa, what?
In the Gulf War, a couple of hilarious and quirky moments didn't make the final cut. One of them involved Mabel's newspaper column being misspelled as dabble at the bottom of the page, a small but funny detail that would have added some extra charm to the episode. But the real gem was the reveal that Soos actually believes in golf gods. Yep, you heard that right. In typical Soos fashion, his eccentric beliefs take another strange turn, elevating his already bizarre personality. Sock opera.
The buzz is about reading.
Give me some of that honey.
In sock opera, there was a scene that took Bipper's creepiness to a whole new level. A scene so intense, it had to be cut. Originally, Bipper, that's Dipper possessed by Bill Cipher in case you forgot, was supposed to be shown playing the infamous knife game. Yes, the one where you rapidly stab a knife between your fingers. For obvious safety reasons, and perhaps to keep the show's rating intact, this dangerous scene was scrapped. Honestly, playing the knife game, Bipper was already creepy enough. Adding a knife to the mix might have been nightmare fuel we weren't ready for. Soos and the real girl.
Hi, Soos.
Melody, are you ready for a date with me?
In Soos and the Real Girl, a deleted scene revealed a comically audacious plan concocted by none other than Stan himself. In this moment, Stan proposes the idea of stealing an animatronic from Hoo-Ha's, inspired by two talking animatronic heads mounted on the wall. It's the kind of wild scheme you can only expect from the lovable, scheming Grunkle Stan. Just picture it, Stan, the ultimate hustler, plotting a heist on animatronics. That's some classic Grunkle Stan right there. With his knack for getting into trouble, it's probably a good thing this plan didn't make the cut. Society of the Blind Eye.
The blind eye!
In this episode, we get a hilarious moment where Wendy catches Stan secretly jamming out to Straight Blanchin', calling it catchy. Who knew Stan had such a hidden taste for trendy tunes? Meanwhile, the museum guard goes all out securing the place with multiple locks, only to leave a window wide open. Classic fail. Naturally, this gives Dipper, Mabel, and the gang the perfect opportunity to sneak in unnoticed. And then there's poor lazy Susan. After Blind Ivan erases her memory, he tricks her into donating to the society, and she has no clue. When one of the society members worries about them abusing their mind-wiping power, Ivan wipes everyone's memory of the complaint. Talk about using your powers to fix problems. Now no one even remembers to be concerned. Blendin's game.
It ruined my life! Dipper and Mabel Pines! 21st century!
The original ending of Blendin's game episode had Dipper and Mabel winning an orb that showed Soos visions of his future. As a great dad to his own son, can you imagine the emotional impact of seeing Soos's future self as a proud father? But the creators decided to replace this heartwarming moment with the current ending to create a stronger emotional bond between Soos and the twins, the Love God.
Oh my love god. Are you an actual love god?
This episode stirred up quite the conflict behind the scenes. Originally, there was a scene where the Love God paired Meredith with an elderly lady, a twist that caused a serious argument between the show's creators and Disney. Despite multiple requests from Alex Hirsch, the network insisted on cutting the scene. And that wasn't the only change. The Love God's necklace was supposed to include the symbol for transgender genderqueer, alongside the traditional male and female symbols. But Disney made sure that got scrapped too. No clear reason was given, but it sure sparked some heated debates behind closed doors. Think Disney made the right call, or should these bold ideas have stayed? Let us know what you think in the comments and subscribe for more shocking behind-the-scenes revelations. Northwest Mansion. Mystery.
Oh no, it's happening.
In Northwest Mansion Mystery, there was a notable cut scene that revealed a different direction for Pacifica's character. Originally, Pacifica ended the episode without any real growth, simply flirting with Dipper to get a rise out of him. This playful banter was fun, but it didn't offer the depth we came to expect from her character. Thankfully, the storyline was revised to showcase her actual character development, highlighting her journey toward redemption and growth. Pacifica just flirting with Dipper and not growing? Good thing they changed it. We love her redemption arc. This shift not only made her a more relatable character, but also enriched the overall narrative of the episode. Not what he seems.
18 more hours. Finally, everything changes. Today.
Not what he seems could have been even wilder. In the early version, Wendy was set to play a much larger role, and Bill Cipher was even considered for the plot. Plus, the shack had a clever 1984 reference with a poster reading, "Big Uncle is watching." And here's a fun twist. Powers had his sense of humor literally eaten by a zombie, and Stan had apparently let Dipper and Mabel drive his car. In the original plan, Stan didn't call Soos. Instead, he used a radio from the interrogation room. Meanwhile, Dipper and Mabel were held in an old schoolhouse where Mabel played with century-old toys. Dipper used Tremblay's key to escape and check the shack's surveillance tapes. And here's the kicker. In a hilarious deleted scene, two bumbling agents debated if their slow ID issuing process could have caused JFK's assassination, concluding they were too disorganized to be involved. In the end, Dipper and Mabel knocked out the agents by dropping a bell on them and tied them up using an American flag. Classic Gravity Falls chaos. A tale of two Stans.
Haha, I've got the other thing. What is it called? Oh, right, punching!
For A Tale of Two Stans, several wild-cut scenes could have added extra drama and humor. One notable moment featured Soos delivering a previously monologue that ended with Stan's nose bleeding from a punch by Ford. We almost got to see Stan get punched by Ford. Talk about sibling drama. Another jaw-dropping cut involved Stan staging his own death by driving Ford's car off a cliff with a dummy inside, pretending to scream for help as it crashed and exploded. Faking his own death? Stan really really went all out to cover his tracks. And here's where it gets even juicier. A mafia figure, possibly a boss, was seen reading the newspaper about Stan's death with a satisfied smirk. This subtle detail implied that Stan had ties to organized crime and might have even had a hit out on him. These outrageous moments would have brought even more drama and humor, making the episode even more unforgettable. Dungeons, dungeons, and more dungeons.
Everyone get down!
A fascinating cutscene in Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons could have significantly deepened the bond between Dipper and Ford. Originally, Dipper was set to reveal his real name to Ford, symbolizing their connection and shared experiences. However, this impactful moment was cut due to time constraints, as the writers felt it wasn't the right moment for such a reveal. Dipper revealing his real name? That would have been a huge moment for fans. The Last Mabelcorn. Originally, The Last Mabelcorn was almost a Wendy-focused episode where she gained weather-controlling powers, but it was changed to the unicorn plot we know. The cut unicorn fight scene occurred after Mabel, frustrated by the unicorn refusing to grant her pure-hearted approval, claiming Mabel wasn't truly pure of heart. Determined to prove her worth, she rallied Wendy, Grenda, and Candy, leading to an epic, fully animated battle between them and the unicorns. Sadly, this magical and action-packed showdown was cut due to time constraints, depriving fans of what could have been one of the most memorable moments in the series. Additionally, several scenes from Mabel's good deeds montage were scrapped, including her accidentally stuffing a coin into a man's ear while refilling parking meters, and a letter to Gideon that said, "Sorry about prison." These lost moments would have added even more humor and whimsy to the episode. If you've enjoyed this video so far, hit that like button before Mabel knits you a ridiculous sweater. And don't forget to subscribe for more Gravity Falls craziness. Roadside Attraction.
Guys? Hello? Anyone? I'll come back.
In Roadside Attraction, Emmy Ciciarega pitched an end credits scene that would have been pure Gravity Falls gold. Picture this: Soos, hopelessly bored and stuck in the corn maze, decides to roll around in frustration. Desperate for some excitement, he spells out, "Help! I'm bored," in the corn, hoping for a rescue. And it works. Kind of. A helicopter spots the message, flies over, and instead of saving him, drops a book of maze puzzles and a pencil. Soos looks at the puzzles, realizing that his rescue is just something to keep him entertained while he's still stuck in the maze. It's the perfect mix of weird, funny, and unexpected, fitting right into Gravity Falls' signature humor. Unfortunately, this wonderfully bizarre scene was cut, but it would have made for a hilarious and memorable ending: Dipper and Mabel versus the future.
Kinda, actually. It's that we are exactly 1 week away from our 13th birthday!
In Dipper and Mabel versus the future, a couple of poignant cutscenes could have added significant depth to Mabel's character arc. One notable scene featured Mabel waving goodbye to Stan after a heartfelt talk, a moment that would have showcased their bond. However, it was ultimately cut from the final production. Another impactful scene was meant to depict Mabel receiving a call from her parents, telling her that she couldn't bring Waddles home, intensifying her emotional struggle during this bittersweet moment. This scene could have added so much more depth to Mabel's emotional turmoil. Poor Waddles. These missed opportunities would have provided viewers with a deeper understanding of Mabel's feelings as she faced the challenges ahead. Weirdmageddon Part 1.
Today's just so wonderful. I feel like chuckling. Ha ha ha.
Weirdmageddon Part 1 had fans missing out on some thrilling moments that were left on the cutting room floor. One of the most exciting omissions was Bill Cipher's villainous song titled "It's Gonna Get Weird," which was cut for time. In this fast-paced number, Bill would gleefully sing about reality falling apart with lines like, "Reality is breaking, sanity's shaking, and guess what? I'm just getting started." His dark humor would shine through with lyrics such as, "Up is down, left is right, and everything you thought was safe is now out of sight." The song would have celebrated Bill's love for chaos, mocking Gravity Falls while he unleashed total anarchy. Additionally, there was an extended live-action scene featuring Dipper and Wendy inside the weirdness bubble that also didn't make the final cut. Seeing Dipper and Wendy as live-action characters, that would have blown fans' minds. This unique twist could have added a whole new layer of surrealism to the episode, making it even more unforgettable. It's a shame these moments were left out. Weirdmageddon Part 2, Escape from Reality.
Flip-a-dip-dip. I hate him so much.
One of the most shocking cutscenes from Weirdmageddon Part 2, Escape from Reality, featured a dark twist involving Dippy Fresh. Dipper was originally supposed to snap Dippy Fresh's neck, introducing a grim turn in an otherwise chaotic adventure. However, this moment was ultimately cut for being too violent for the show's tone. That would have been a bit too much. Dippy Fresh deserved it, but yikes. This intense scene could have added a chilling edge to the narrative. But it's probably for the best that it was left out, as it would have left fans in utter shock. Weirdmageddon Part 3, Take Back the Falls.
What's even in there?
Gravity Falls in Weirdmageddon Part 3, Take Back the Falls included a captivating storyline where Dipper and Mabel would fall into a time anomaly bubble, but sadly this idea was ultimately scrapped. An epilogue episode would have been such a great send-off. Time bubbles, anyone? It could have offered a perfect chance to revisit memorable moments from the series and give fans the closure they craved. Additionally, there was a moment of tension regarding the song We'll Meet Again. Disney initially wanted to cut this heartfelt tune due to the high costs of acquiring the rights. However, after some convincing from Alex Hirsch, the song was kept in the episode. Good thing they kept the song. It made the ending that much more heartwarming. This iconic moment added an emotional layer to the finale, perfectly capturing the bittersweet farewell to the beloved characters we had grown to love. Wow. What an adventure we've had exploring the hidden gems of Gravity Falls. From the hilariously offbeat moments that almost featured Old Man McGucket belting out a song to the dark twists that could have redefined Dipper and Mabel's journey, it's clear that the creators packed this show with surprises. Which cutscene blew your mind the most? Was it Dippy Fresh facing a shocking end, or the magical unicorn battle that never happened? Share your thoughts. If you love diving into these behind-the-scenes secrets, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more deep dives into your favorite shows. Until next time, keep your journals handy and your flashlights ready, because in Gravity Falls, the mysteries are never truly over.